Dilip Bhat is with us, and Mr. S.P. Tulsian is with us as well, and Kunal Botra also continues to chat with us. Gentlemen, afternoon to all of you. Dilip, I want to start off with you. It's been good for the markets the last 2-3 days. Of course, you can call it short covering, but now with the Fed event out of the way, do you think that the market would sort of continue to see a bit of a relief rally?
Sonia, absolutely. I think all of that. Plus, what I'm really looking forward to is that any time now we possibly could see a pre-budget rally really taking shape. So whether it could happen immediately or probably it is already in the process, time alone will tell. But I think that there is a good possibility of that playing out. Second factor is, I think this quarterly results, 31st December 2015 quarterly results, will certainly be much better QOQ as well as YOY. I think that is because of the very fact that the entire festival season has got bunched together. So by and large, most of the results should, most of the companies should come out with a slightly better performance. So these two factors will certainly provide a good amount of tailwind. And I also expect that now with government virtually giving up passing of GST in this particular session, I think we will still see a spate of good announcements in terms of the reforms, which will really give a good hope and optimism in a run-up to the budget. So all of this will, I think, will make the climate very conducive for the bulls to really prevail over the bears for some more time, at least till the budget.
Okay, some stocks are surging now, but Tata Steel up about close to 4%, Hindalco is as well up about 3%. That's crossed 1,000 after a really long time. Do you think it's finally ready to make a move on?
Well, I think, Anuj, people are waiting for Reliance really to move up because that's been a real laggard all throughout. So I think there is every possibility that Reliance may now surge ahead, maybe on the back of some of these news, especially the launch of its telecom. But I think overall, considering the fact that there are quite a few of the headwinds waiting in terms of the judgments which are going to come on the oil exploration part, the tiff between them and ONGC, I think they will continue to pose those intermittent hurdles for some time to come. But I think the trajectory finally should look up.
Dilip, a couple of other stocks where we have seen a bit of activity today, Larsen and Toubro and ICICI Bank, and both these stocks have been the problem point for the bulls. You've seen ICICI hit 52-week low continuously. Larsen has done that all through last week. What's your call on both these heavyweights?
So let me start off with L&T. I think L&T really has taken it on the chin for a variety of reasons. And I think some of the most pressing problems being that they pay a very high interest cost, they have very high debt on a consolidated basis. And I think even the execution rate and the warning guidance all have really added to the woes of the company. But having said that, I think it is still the big headline bet one can take on Larsen and Toubro, that it is still going to be the main company which will participate very actively in the India's growth story. And I think that is really very conveniently been pushed to the background at the moment. And I think as the market picks up, I feel that Larsen and Toubro will participate very actively and properly. And even otherwise, if you take a slightly longer term view of 12 to 15 months, I think this stock can give a very easily a very handsome return, I think outperforming the markets.
All right, let's do one thing. Since the market is in such a great place, let's invite another guest.
There's some news on Volkswagen that for this relief likely for Volkswagen because the inter-ministerial meeting may have cleared them of cheating. It doesn't impact any stock in India. Motherson Sumi, of course, today the market is up, so all the stocks are rallying, but it doesn't impact Motherson Sumi, of course. It has more global clients than local clients here. But let's get back to our guest then. Dilip, a word on some of these auto names and the kind of move that we have seen, especially on M&M. What's your call on that one now?
Well, I think the headwinds continue to be there, whether it's tractors, and now probably in Delhi they are just run into some of the problems. So I would say that I would still wait before really start buying the stock. but surely this is definitely on the radar. I think at the lower levels, I would still say maybe another 8 to 10% down. I would still look to buy this particular stock, because otherwise all the rest of the things are really in place, whether it's a raw material cost, good management, good cash flows. But I think some of these things will just prevent me from really accumulating these stocks at the current levels.
There's no stopping this market now. The Sensex up 300 points and the Nifty is up 100 points. So it's really been a spectacular surge. It's a one-way surge that we have seen since 1 o'clock. The market has just not looked back. There hasn't even been a 30-40 point dip intraday. It's just been one-way journey, again, as I said, from 1 p.m. onwards. And some of the stocks which are surging now, HDFC, pull out intraday chart of HDFC, Larsen and Toubro, Tech Mahindra, even Vedanta. A lot of these stocks are now surging. Mahindra and Mahindra as well, now up about 2.5%. So almost reclaiming 70 to 80% of yesterday's losses. That's Mahindra and Mahindra looking quite good at this point in time. So big gains in some of these index stocks. Dilip, before we let you go, so what would your advice be in terms of individual stocks? What kind of stocks would you buy at current levels?
Well, since I'm playing for a pre-budget rally, up to the budget, I think I would still stick to the front lines, because if the index has to move up, the front lines have to very proactively participate in that, and especially the banking stocks, the auto stocks. I think two in particular probably should do pretty well. I'm not too enamored by the metal stocks at the moment. Of course, they are also participating in this rally, but I would prefer to play the other ones. And I think in the mid caps, it will be once again a bottoms up approach with a pick and choose kind of a thing, something like a VRL Logistics or something like an NIIT. Some of those names really stand out. I think even coming to a sector pharma also, probably I would play for a good bounce back from the current levels.
All right.